Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing our weekly review, getting caught up again for The Walking Dead Dead City. This is now for episode 3. It is called People Are a Resource. Alright, dude, so that takes us to halfway through the first season for The Walking Dead Dead City, and I believe it has been renewed for a second season. It's done great as far as ratings are concerned and everything. It's, I think, the biggest premiere from what I saw on cable TV this year for a new series, so that's really great. Happy to hear it. This is for the third episode now, which takes us to halfway through the first season because the first season is only 6 episodes. The pilot season for Dead City, only 6 episodes. This one is called People Are a Resource, which is kind of like a callback to some of the Savior kind of mentality, culture, and ways that the Saviors did things. Viewing people as a resource, if you guys think back to the episodes like Service, some of the ones in Season 7, Season 8 with how the Saviors did things. Likely Croat would have left before those events, but people being a resource is something that Negan, I think, has pretty much used and done probably all the way throughout the zombie apocalypse. We can almost see him sort of doing it in this episode as well, too. And this is a really good episode. I think it's just as good as maybe the first two, and the ending is pretty good against Luthor, which is pretty cool. So we got some pictures we'll just cycle through for this episode of it, captures from it. The scenes and everything. I think the series looks awesome, right? Getting to see New York. We've got Ginny there, and she's kind of like what in a little raft or something that's sort of like this, crossing the river to Dead City, to New York. Got the deer there that they catch and eat and everything. And them, like a lot of the episodes, kind of them discussing how they're going to go at Croat, how they're going to attack him in the stadium. Pretty cool. He's got a good setup that we get to kind of see in this episode. He's got some pretty cool spots, like a MMA cage ring for people to fight in. It's got a pretty cool scene with him here with having dinner with the marshal, sort of, and kills the guy that the marshal, or that's making food for him with the marshal, and then later puts him in a cage against him and everything, which is pretty sweet. It's good stuff there. I like the dinosaur that Ginny's got and everything is pretty cool, how kids get attached to, little items and stuff like that, and that Negan's looking out for. He's taking good care of her. I am, like a fatherly figure type of thing. And just the only thing I think about this, which is a little bit strange, I think, is that they didn't use any of the characters that they had, in the original Walking Dead series as a part of this as well, too. I mean, you have Herschel. Okay, so he's there. You have Negan and Maggie, but that's it. They didn't use Lydia. They didn't use anybody else. So a little bit strange. I kind of thought they probably would have, or any of the other survivors from Maggie's group from before. So the dinosaur and stuff, them discussing, you get People Are a Resource, the cage fights and all that, which is fun. This guy, right, Luthor against Negan later on, kind of as a sort of like a final part to the episode, a final action sequence. The cage part here with the Marshal, which is pretty cool. Is it Marshal Armstrong? I love that. Pretty good. And let's see. So the kind of the final fight scene with Negan and him, and he sort of uses, I think it's a cheese grater against him, kind of like puts it across his forehead and stuff. So in kind of a good action sequence, good fight scene with it and everything. So it's good stuff for Negan because it's like, so as I said in episode 2 review, so different from what we're used to with Rick and Daryl and how they handle situations. Negan's just totally different from them. So it's sort of like watching a series where the lead character is not a protagonist, but he's an antagonist, or he's an anti-hero, or not even an anti-hero. He's just a straight-up villain, right? Negan's like a straight-up villain. He's not even really... if you're on the right side, he could be like an anti-hero, I guess, sort of. But it's sort of like, if you guys remember Breaking Bad, where you have like Walter White, and he's clearly like, maybe at the beginning he's an okay guy, sort of like he's somewhat of a good guy, but by the end he's like a full-on straight on villain, right? So it's cool to see. It's like the Joker movie. If you guys, Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie, in that it's a weird, it's kind of a cool, different type of series or movie that you see where you have it led by a villain, sorta. And you get the sense after seeing these episodes that Negan is still that. He is still the villain, even though in the Walking Dead original TV series, he took some strides towards being a good person, and he'll help out Ginny, and he'll do stuff like that. Still, though, he's still a villain, right? Like, he's not a good guy. He's still not. He's still not a good guy. So that's fun to see a series like that, where like the lead character, him and Maggie under his influence has been, from our perspective, she still feels like she's kind of a good guy, but only sometimes. Like when she kills the Reapers, for example. That's a good example of her just going like totally, overkill 100% and just, trying to kill them all basically. So, but yeah, so he's got the wanted poster, and then the fight between the two of them breaks out, and then he ends up getting the grater, and I didn't get a capture of that one, but then he kind of crushes it in just to finish the deal, finish him off. So there it is right there. Is that what it is? It's a cheese grater. That's a pretty wicked kill, dude. It's a wicked one. I feel bad for the guy, even though the guy's way bigger. It's like a David versus Goliath thing, though. You're kind of rooting for Negan because the guy's way, like 100 pounds probably bigger than Negan. But, again, and this is like realistic, too, to real life as well. Some of the big guys, they throw their weight around sometimes. But when I was younger, I knew a guy who was a bouncer. He was huge. He's like probably bigger than this guy, actually. He was like a bodybuilder, a bouncer, juicy and all the stuff, like huge guy, right? Nobody would mess with him. He was a bouncer, and he would kind of sort of like his job to be a bouncer at some of the bars and stuff he'd work at and clubs and stuff. But then one day he got into it with a small guy from Toronto, and I don't know, maybe the guy was in gangs and stuff like that. But pretty simple, what happened? The guy pulled out a knife, and a small guy against the guy who he must have been double his weight, and in terms of strength, way stronger than him. But the little guy pulled out a knife, and unfortunately, true story. I'm not making this up. Actually, got stabbed, and unfortunately didn't make it after. Knives are really bad, really deadly. People get stabbed him in the stomach, and I don't know. I guess the authorities, ambulance can get there in time, whatever. And he just bled out. Big guy, huge, biggest guy. Maybe like in the area, like everybody at the gym, they knew him because he was like the biggest guy around, and that happened. So yeah. Anyway, awesome episode. I enjoyed it. I'm going to give it this one I think is from the prior, so let's switch back. Yeah, so I'm going to give this episode, People Are a Resource, I think a 9 out of 10. I'm really enjoying seeing Dead City. I love to see the villain-led series as something totally different because, again, we've seen so much Walking Dead. So many episodes of the original, so many episodes of Fear the Walking Dead now, and the others that they've done too. It's really cool to see, refreshing to see Dead City because you get to see it now almost from a pure villain-led perspective. A pure villain. Like Negan, in some ways he can be good, but he will murder people as a spectacle in front of others to break people in. He will do all these things, and even a few episodes in now, he's already killed a few people and stuff. It's clear, I think, that he's not a good guy, right? So it's cool to see a series like that in Walking Dead universe, led by somebody who is completely not like Daryl, completely not like the others, and will do things that are quite evil. So let me know what you guys think. Let's see, episode, give it another 9, I think. 9 out of 10. Just like episode 2, another great one. Comments below, thumb the video up below, share, favorite, and subscribe at the bottom. We'll see you guys again soon for another video. It's Trev saying peace. Later, guys. See ya.